Hi friends, welcome to new video. Ukraine says Lavrov's comments raise the possibility of using nuclear weapons, calling them totally unacceptable. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says the regions of Ukraine where the widely criticized referendum is taking place will be under Moscow's control. Full protection if they are annexed raises the possibility of using nuclear weapons if Kyiv tries to retake the territories. Lavrov's comments at a news conference in New York City on Saturday came as residents of 4 Russian-held regions in eastern and southern Ukraine continued to vote on whether to join Russia. Moscow has described the 4-day referendum, which began on Friday, as a vote for self-determination, but Ukraine and its Western allies see the election as a sham orchestrated by the Kremlin. Many residents of the areas are being forced to vote, says Kyiv. After these referendums, Russia will certainly respect the expression of the will of the people who have been victims of the abuses of the neo-Nazi regime for many years. Lavrov told reporters after addressing the United Nations General Assembly. My name is Ahmed and you are watching 72 Info TV, so before discussing this news please subscribe our channel for more info videos. When asked if Russia would have the grounds to use nuclear weapons to defend Ukraine's annexed territories, Lavrov said that Russian territory, including territory further enshrined in the future Russian constitution, is further enshrined. All the laws, ideals, concepts and strategies of the Russian Federation apply to all its territories, he said, referring specifically to Russia's view on the use of nuclear weapons. The minister's comments followed a stark warning Thursday from former President Dmitry Medvedev, an ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, that any weapons in Moscow's arsenal, including strategic nuclear weapons, could be used to defend territories annexed by Russia. Putin had previously promised to use all means at our disposal, including nuclear weapons, to protect one's country if its territorial integrity is threatened. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said Lavrov's comments, and Putin's earlier statement that he was not adamant about using nuclear weapons, were irresponsible and absolutely unacceptable. Ukraine will not give up. We call on all nuclear powers to speak up now and make it clear to Russia that such rhetoric threatens the world and will not be tolerated, Kuleba wrote on Twitter. Ukraine has also requested an urgent meeting of the UN Security Council on the referendum. Foreign Ministry spokesman Oleg Nikolenko said on Twitter that Russia was called on to be held accountable for further attempts to violate the UN Charter to change Ukraine's internationally recognized borders. Russia's war in Ukraine, which has killed thousands, is now in its 7th month, and many leaders who spoke at the annual United Nations Summit in New York turned to Moscow for the conflict, condemning his nuclear threats, accusing him of committing atrocities and war crimes, and criticizing his decision to call up some of his reserves. Lavrov had earlier used his UN address to justify Russia's actions, repeating false claims that the elected government in Kyiv had been illegally installed, neo-Nazis in the east of the country, and a press was full of Russian speakers. He also claimed to have tried to focus on Washington and its NATO allies, not Russia, as the West maintains, aggressively undermining the system that the UN represents. He accused the West of intending to destroy and disintegrate Russia, so as to remove from the world map a geopolitical entity that has become completely independent. Asked at the news conference if he could anticipate future talks with the US to make Russia feel more secure about NATO interference in its sphere of influence, Lavrov claimed, "Is it the West that has broken the previous talks?" His US counterpart, Antony Blinken, cut off talks in the wake of the attack, saying Russia's troop movement on the Ukrainian border was a wholesale rejection of diplomacy. "We are saying no to contacts. And when it comes to suggestions to that effect, we agree. If our partners want to meet quietly so that no one knows about it, that's fine because talking is always better than not talking," Lavrov said. But in the current situation, Russia is not going to make the first move very easily. He also tried to limit opposition to Russia's war in Ukraine to Washington and countries under its influence, even though nearly 3/4 of the General Assembly voted to censure Moscow in March. Thanks for watching our videos.